everyone, what's up? We're here back with Bobby Chiu
Hello.
On day 3 of our illustration streams. How's it
Super
going,
exciting.
everyone?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is the final day. So Bobby has been working on this piece for the last 2 days.
Yes.
And today is his final and third day.
Oh my gosh, no pressure, right? Mm-hmm. You know, the first day, the second day, it's fun. You're just chatting. Now, third day, we got to get this done. And, we're going to be sending this print out there into the ether, to somebody special out there. So the pressure's on, but don't worry.
Don't worry,
we'll get it done.
We'll get it done, and we'll have fun, too. So, thank you all for joining us. We are here in the Adobe HQ studios in San Francisco. Bobby, you're typically based out of Toronto.
I am.
Let us know where all of you are coming in from.
Absolutely.
So we can see where our community is. So we've got a really full day planned, like we mentioned. We're starting off the day, starting strong with Bobby and this piece that we're working on, followed by Kay Asadera, and then the Photoshop Creative Daily Challenge, which will be in about 3 hours at noon Pacific time. And then Nathan Folks and Anna Davis Court in the afternoon. And for those who don't know, Anna Davis Court is actually a Adobe Creative resident this year. So she's spending the entire year focusing on her own creative project.
That's amazing, Isn't
that cool?
That's your job, to just do, something creative.
To deep dive into your craft.
And you don't have to worry about rent and things like that. That's a blessing, honestly.
Yeah. So she's one of 7 residents. Make sure to check out those streams too if you're wanting to explore and chat a little bit with everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we also have a really fun chat giveaway. Today it will be of this print by Dan Mumford. It was created with Adobe Illustrator Draw.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So you could win this print if you just participate in the chat about 30 minutes into this segment. And there will be a countdown at the bottom of the screen soon. And instead of doing a daily challenge where we have a theme, we're instead going to do portfolio reviews. So you can find out more information in the tab next to the chat tab. But basically, you could submit your portfolio and potentially be selected for review with Bobby.
I'll be gentle. Don't worry, everybody. I'll be gentle.
Yeah, so you can find all the submission instructions in that tab, and then we'll look it up in about an hour or so. So make sure to get it in time. So welcome, Bobby.
Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Alice. It's been a wonderful time, and I'm sad it's today's the last day, but every good thing must come to an end.
Yes.
But hopefully this won't be the last that you'll see of me. And if you don't want, if you can't get enough of me, if you're not sick of me yet, definitely look up Digital Bobbert on YouTube, because I do streams a lot of times. I interview artists and just trying to give back to the community,
Yeah.
Fun, good stuff.
And people can also find you on Schoolism. They want to learn from you too.
Yes, absolutely. Schoolism.com. The cool thing about that is, number one, it's very inexpensive. For the subscription anyways, you can get an entire year of education right now for $200, which is...
That's awesome.
Pretty awesome, yes.
Yeah. I mean, compared to the cost of a full-time art education, that's very affordable.
Exactly, and the main thing is these are high-level professional artists that I've sought out, for the last 13 years of my life, just searching out all these great artists to kind of share their knowledge with the world. So it's all good things, The art community those are my people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of times when you meet somebody, you go, "Oh, where are you from?" Or, what are you? Are you Canadian? Are you American? Or whatever. We are these different things, but I feel way more of a connection with just artists in general. When we go and travel, it's like everybody's different, everybody has different cultures. But as artists, we really get each other. That's why I love about art.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So I'm seeing, if you're wanting to check out some of those links, you can look at the links that Tim very helpfully posted.
Hey, I also want to give a big shout out to Renee at Adobe because she gave me an awesome idea this morning, and that kind of will go into one of our first little things to talk about here, which is getting good feedback from others. It doesn't have to necessarily be from some super famous director or whatever, even though getting feedback from another artist like Renee is fantastic. She was saying, you know what, it's almost like a koi fish, unusual unicorn coming out of the water. So that's why I kind of erased a bunch of the dark fur on the back.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit about your process and how you got to here for those who are just joining today and what you're working on?
Yes. Okay. I don't have too much time, so I'll make this nice, simple, and quick. Started off with a line drawing, right? A little recap. Started off with a line drawing, had an idea of this unusual unicorn because I've kind of been into unusual unicorns lately.
Sweet.
And this unusual unicorn is popped out of the water and wants to be a butterfly. It's looking at the butterflies. But kind of like the subtext of this is that we never really know how special we are. We're always kind of looking at other stuff half the time, just wanting to be something else when really the uniqueness is right there within.
That's
so,
nice.
Try to send some positive vibes out there into the world. Through art, right?
Yeah.
And there you go.
And so now you're exploring painting and adding color.
Yes.
Cool.
The other thing about this is that I want to make this somewhat of analogous color scheme, so only oranges and reds being used. The water, of course, you're always going to want to use blue, usually.
Okay.
Right? But if you look at water, it's all sorts of colors. And with analogous kind of color scheme, if I take down all the saturation, does that look like gray? No. It looks kind of greenish bluish now, right? And it's
like
because,
a cool gray.
Well, what's the opposite of orange? It's blue.
Oh.
What's the opposite of red? It's green. So with a gray there, because it doesn't have any of the red or orange, it starts to look orange or bluish green.
Oh, interesting. So the contrast between the rest of the orangey image.
Yes.
That's cool.
Boom.
Yeah.
Knowledge.
Knowledge dropped.
On Adobe Live.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Fun and learning. If you can combine those two things, I guarantee you your life will be nothing but joy.
Right. Speaking of having fun and learning,
yes.
I'm seeing a question in the chat about how to become a creative resident, and they select them every year, I believe. So I think right now they're like 3 months into this year's group. So if you're interested in learning more, you can always check that out in about 8 to 9 months, I'm assuming.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an opportunity.
Yeah, and you can also probably just Google Adobe Creative Resident to learn more and follow along with the 7 artists.
The other thing I want to mention here was, Renee was, it was Kat, Kay's host, was mentioning that this kind of looked like her dog or something. So then I brought up this Pomeranian image here, just to inspire me as I paint along, to try to get a little bit of that nice dog essence in there.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
So actually, somewhat relevantly, Daryl asks if they could see the brush settings that you're using to paint with, and I know that you were just finagling with that.
This is the, right now I'm just using the I thought it'd be fun to just show, we've been talking a lot about brushes, and it's amazing, using really great brushes is awesome. But as well, you want to have that knowledge there, right? You want to, if you have a whole bunch of good art knowledge, you can do a lot of amazing things, even with a default brush like this. And this is, pretty much a default-ish brush. I just made this myself. That's why I just called it this weird like name there. But here's what it is. It's just a circle stamp, right? Just like the most generic brush in Photoshop. Spacing is at 25% if you press brush tip shape. Shape dynamics is, it only has pen pressure controlling the size of the brush, and minimum diameter is at 0. And then I put a touch of transfer on there. I put the flow of the paint controlled a tiny bit by pen pressure, which means that if I press lighter, the paint will come out slower. Right, and then I get more, a little bit more translucency, and I'm able to make subtler kind of descriptions.
Cool. So it's that one of those default brushes that everyone has, plus a few tweaks.
Yes, lightly. A little bit of my own little spice in there. Not much, but
cool.
Super simple to make.
Yeah.
Fun to use. All right.
Super fun.
And I don't know if we gave any shout outs, but they all started coming out, like all these people wherever they were from.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Big shout outs
everyone.
to the world.
Good morning from San Francisco.
Yes.
Good evening to those who, it's nighttime for them.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right. So also, this is very interactive. We are here. We are looking at your comments right now. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Definitely. Yeah. Mark wants to know if you've drawn any inspiration from Dr. Seuss.
Nothing conscious. Nothing conscious, even though obviously Dr. Seuss played a huge role in my life. Taught me how to count, probably. Things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taught me some lessons.
Old school inspirations, I would say the first thing that comes to mind is Calvin and Hobbes, Garfield. Even though you won't be able to tell, like in my painterly stuff, I wouldn't think.
Oh, I love this. Yeah. Are there other old school childhood influences?
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
that was
okay.
a huge one. And Yoda from Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
Everybody liked story time yesterday, little
Yes.
stories and such. I'm not sure if they're sick of them yet, but I do have a pretty good story about Yoda.
Let's see if everyone wants to hear a fun story about Yoda.
Yeah, let's
please
give them
let
a
us
bunch
know.
of choices, right?
Yeah.
We could do Yoda, the little Yoda story, or we can just keep painting. I could keep talking about painting and drawing. Whatever you guys like. This is super interactive.
Yeah, let us know Yoda stories or painting pro tips.
Yes.
We could do a little bit of both too,
Ooh.
but just which one comes first.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Like there's some interest in story time.
Story time. All right.
Yeah, all right. Gather around.
Okay, so I was only reminded of this in Comic-Con last week because I was on a panel and somebody was asking what was kind of like the character that really made you want to go into the movies.
Oh, okay.
What was that magical character? And I was saying, I thought about it and I was like, oh, yeah, that's easy. It was when I was watching Star Wars. As a little child, the first Star Wars, as a little child, and I got scared, I got worried. I said to my father, I said, Dad, where are all the Chinese people in the future?
Oh my God.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
And he said to me in a very serious manner, he said, don't worry, son, Yoda's Chinese.
Oh, okay.
He said, if you grow to be 600 years old, you'll look like Yoda.
Okay.
And I was like, oh. Okay, I'm safe. I feel safe now. So I don't know. Maybe not the best story, but.
So you've always liked Yoda?
I always thought Yoda was Chinese for like the longest time. Is that kind of weird?
No, that's not weird. It's kind of funny and sweet that your dad said that too.
Yeah,
to make you feel better.
I love my dad. He's awesome. Super nice guy. You see how just a little bit of a tone here really starts to bring out the volume? You know, you can really start to see the all the little kind of volumes happening now. And as I start to use a little bit more of a translucent brush, then you can start to feel the fur, right? You can really start to feel that fur very easily. And I'll tell you guys how. A little, you know, a little story time, a little education. This is how you make, or this is how I make fur. You start off with just the general color, the general tone of whatever that part is.
Okay.
And then you grab another tone that's very similar, so low contrast, right?
Okay.
I'm using very big, broad strokes for this low contrast paint here.
Okay.
And I'm just going in the direction of the fur.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm painting strands of fur here, right? Alice, these are big, thick brush strokes. The reason why it works is because there's low contrast. So you don't notice those big brush strokes nearly as much as kind of like the feeling of the brush strokes. So you kind of get the sense of fur. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question related
Sure.
to that? How do you avoid over-rendering the fur?
You go live and you do a stream like this, and you're like, oh my goodness, I only have a certain
This is
amount
where
of time
I gotta
left.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a tough question. A lot of times what I like to do, if I can, is I want to just have a little time to do something else, come back with fresh eyes, look at it again and go, okay, does it look finished now? If it doesn't look finished, then I got more to do. That's the simplest answer to that, I think.
Yeah, I really like working on something in the evening before I'm about to go to sleep. And then going to sleep, and then I wake up, and I'm a totally like fresh brain person.
Yes.
And I look at the thing, and I'm like, oh wow, great. Like, why was I was worried about this, but it actually looks fine, or whatever. Or like this part needs some work, so.
I love painting straight in the morning. You know, once I get up, start doing something, because you're still a little groggy.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, what helps you paint or draw better is when you're not super serious about it, you know, analyzing everything.
Yeah.
That's
in the
really
flow.
helpful. Yes.
Yeah, you're flowing.
The flow.
Yes, the flow is
good.
real. Yeah. Cool. Seeing some people saying that they like drawing in the morning too.
The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the HSB slider over here in my color palette, because that is how I like to control color. This way you can control everything independently. You can do just your values and not touch the saturation, or you can just touch the saturation, not the values, and so on and so forth. So that's very helpful.
Yeah. That's nice. So now you're kind of, yesterday you talked a lot about like tackling the big pieces first.
Yes.
So now you're tackling like obviously a huge piece is the fur, or like the surface of this character.
Yes. Well, now I'm just like, I feel like I'm in deadline mode. The director is gonna come in any second. You don't know what's happening. He's in a meeting, she's in a meeting, and once she comes out, she's gonna come straight for you and ask, okay, how are things going? What do you got for me? Which happens, you know, it happens.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like in that mode. I'm trying to channel that right now.
Got it. And speaking of deadlines, our Chat and Win countdown is in the bottom of the screen over there. And you can see that we have about 9 minutes left. So if you want a chance to win this print by Dan Mumford, created using Adobe Illustrator Draw, it's really awesome. Make sure to stick around within the next 9 minutes and participate in the chat. The way it works is that you enter by just saying anything in the chat, and we'll be picking someone randomly to receive the print. And then in another 40 minutes will be the final deadline for our portfolio reviews for this segment. So if you want Bobby to potentially take a look at your portfolio, make sure to get it in before then. All the submission details are in the tab next to the chat. And the same thing goes for the other guests. So if you want Kay to review your portfolio, make sure to send it in during her stream, etc.
That's a really good, rare opportunity. I gotta tell you guys, because Kay, I stream a lot, and Kay never streams with me. She's like, she is the unicorn. Nobody sees her. So what an opportunity. Only Adobe. Only Adobe could get it together. Even her husband couldn't get her to do a stream. So that's pretty special.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? What other kind of questions do we have here? Because
people are loving your process.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What?
I have a good question for you from Mike.
Sure.
He asks, do you ever create like timid or devious monsters that wouldn't be for younger audiences, or have you always made creatures that have a storybook feel? So I guess you take into account the audience.
When I paint by myself, I generally do nice things like this. But okay, I don't know if have you seen Men in Black 3?
No.
It's fine. So in Men in Black 3, there is this Chinese restaurant scene where Will Smith goes into the Chinese restaurant. I think it's right in the beginning of the movie, and or beginning-ish, and fights this giant fish alien. I don't know if anybody else has seen Men in Black 3, but this giant fish alien fights with Will Smith, chases him around. That was my... I helped with that. I
really? Cool.
designed that fish creature. So that wasn't cuddly at all, but it was fun. It was super fun.
Nice. Ooh, people are totally saying that they have watched Men in Black.
Yes.
And saying yes. Cool. Another follow-up question from Sarah is, if you had unlimited cash to spend, which digital illustration item would you invest in?
Green screen, or does that count? Because I'm here, in Adobe, and I'm just like, wow, I could grab my tool over here.
Yeah, let's grab this
eyeball,
layer and move it down.
It's so much fun. But digital equipment, Cintiq monitor, and I'd probably have 2 other monitors, one for one small monitor just for all of my tools. I'd put all my tools in there so I could just paint without any tools on the menu.
Oh, okay.
And the other monitor for reference or Netflix.
Right. So
whatever.
You would have like your layers panel on another screen?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I would have it all on another screen, right?
I see.
So I could just paint it. I could just paint my painting with it feeling even more like an actual painting.
Right.
Right. No menus.
Right.
And I have to give a big shout out to. There's this amazing artist, one of my artistic heroes, Paul Zane, worked on Lord of the Rings and worked on a bunch of other things, Prince of Egypt and stuff like that. He's the one that I kind of got that from. Okay. He has that set up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I definitely have the, because I also use a Cintiq which is what Bobby's using right now, this drawing tablet. So you plug it into your computer so that you almost have like 2 screens. And my computer screen, sometimes when I'm like, I know I'm going to be in the zone, I'll have like a TV show on or some music album that I'm like trying to go through. So it's like my entertainment screen and then my art screen.
So what kind of stuff do you kind of listen to or watch? Or?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I'd love to actually hear from everyone else, like what music or podcasts or work-related things you're listening to.
Yeah, I love educational things. So if anybody has like educational podcasts that they really like or interviews, I really like interviews. I'd love to hear because I'm always looking.
I've definitely listened to yours before.
Really?
Yeah. Like
embarrassed.
Really?
I'm like embarrassed right now.
No, I remember listening to you interviewing like Robert Kondo.
Yes.
That was a really great interview.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Robert is genius.
And it was like 60 minutes or it was like pretty long, I think. So longer than a normal, 10-minute thing. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
you feel like you really got to have the space to like learn about this person and their like philosophy. So that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I like listening to other artists' interviews when I'm just like, looking for that kind of life motivation.
Yeah, if anybody out there is interested in podcasts and things like that, you just gotta look up Chiu Stream.
Chiu Stream, all right.
That's my podcast.
Maybe we can get the link in the chat.
Oh, sure.
Via our awesome mods. I'm seeing some people are listening to S-Town. I just started listening to that. It's this podcast that NPR is putting out.
Okay.
The same creators of Serial. But it's like really intense for me and it's kind of scary. So I stopped listening to it.
I listen to Hardcore History.
Okay.
Which is hardcore. It's crazy. And I like to listen to Cal Fussman. What is it called? The Big Question or something like that. Cal Fussman, he's this fantastic interviewer. Interviewed for Esquire for many, many years, and interviewed Gorbachev, interviewed Muhammad Ali, interviewed all these incredible people, and now he has a podcast. So.
Oh, cool! And speaking of podcasts, Tim just put the link to yours in the chat. So if you want to check it out, you can just click there.
Please, yes. This is for the art community, and it's always nice knowing that people are actually using the thing that you're trying to put out there, so it's always very encouraging.
Yeah. Music-wise, I'm curious to see what everyone listens to, if listening to podcasts is your thing, or if you just want to get into a specific mood or mode. I listen to a lot of like dream pop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I also like Churches. You've heard of them?
Churches.
Spelled with a V instead of a U. Or like Alt J.
Oh, I like Alt J. Well, I only like Alt J because Kay listens to Alt J sometimes.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I listen to nothing, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I gotta force myself to listen to new music because otherwise, naturally, I feel like I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, I don't need any more music. I got my music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gladys says Churches are your favorite band. Me too, I think. So before we run out of time, I just wanted to let you guys all know that the Chat and Win Countdown is happening in less than a minute. You can see it in the corner of the screen. So we're gonna start the chat hype really soon. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty good.
Lots of pressure. Half an hour already passed. Will I get this done? Stay tuned. All right, I think I did enough on this. I'm gonna go to these toes. I gotta get on these toes a little bit. Toes need a little love.
Nice.
So if you had unlimited funds to do something creative,
Ooh.
what would you do?
That's a great question. Oh, but right now, the fireworks just came on.
Oh my gosh,
So
okay.
it looks like it's our Chat and Win Countdown. Hooray!
Yeah!
Yeah, all right, so let us start the chat hype. If you want to enter and win this print by Dan Mumford, make sure to participate in the chat starting now. Let's go. All right, so we're starting it now. If you want to participate, make sure to enter in the chat, and we'll be picking a winner shortly. Isn't this cool? It's very detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Incoherence. Interesting.
Incoherence.
Makes me wonder more. It makes me want to know more. Okay.
Whoa.
So I've done a bunch with the little unicorn thing over here now. Now I gotta get to the wood And looks like I'm kind of really under pressure here, so I want to make sure that I get as much done as possible.
Yeah. Ooh, lots of people are participating. Hooray!
Hey.
Yeah. Let's hype this up even more. Woohoo. All right, congrats to John. John, congratulations. You have won this print, and you will receive more information in your private messages via Adobe Live.
Awesome.
For how to receive it, yeah. To answer your question, Sheely, they did use Illustrator. They used Illustrator Draw. Pretty awesome. Yes, congratulations. Everyone is congratulating John. She says, why don't artists like Illustrator? I think artists do like Illustrator. I think it just depends.
Illustrator.
Yeah, it just depends on what your preferred medium is. And
Illustrator was the first art program I used.
Illustrator is how I even learned to draw. I think because I was too intimidated to draw with my freehand draw, and it was a good way for me to take a more design-oriented approach to drawing. So, yeah. Oh, everyone's saying that they love Illustrator. I love Illustrator too.
Yay!
Yeah. So now that our giveaway is over, our last giveaway for Bobby's stream, you'll be able to enter in more giveaways, 3 more giveaways throughout the day with the 3 remaining streams. So with Kay, Nathan, and Anna. And then after this, in about 30 minutes, we will have our final deadline for the portfolio reviews. So if you want us to potentially take a look at it, make sure to submit, and all the info for that can be found in the tab next to the chat.
Yeah, right now, because I am very conscious of the clock. Director's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm using a more opaque brush, something that will get a lot of the good marks down. And it has a nice texture to it. A little tip, if you have some nice texture, you can get away with a lot more basic kind of brush strokes, basic kind of details, because the texture gives it a little bit of flavor. And that makes it a lot more forgiving.
Right. So actually, Marco asks what you consider to be basics when it comes to character design. It's anatomy.
Ooh, basics, yeah. Definitely anatomy first, I would say, because those are kind of like the Lego pieces that you're working with as you're constructing characters. Even more basic than that is just general structure. Being able to draw something that feels 3-dimensional is a big deal. Then I guess after that, posing is a big one. That gets a lot more difficult. And then after that, I would say texture is important, especially if you're doing character design, concept art, that kind of stuff. Because your concept art is the blueprints of the character, and that has to go to many different departments. And people need to understand everything about that character.
Yeah. For me, I would say also, in addition to all these technical elements, appeal and just general, there's just that extra factor that makes me want to learn more and check out this character. So something about your unicorn makes me just want to pet it, or it's just very appealing and cute to my personal
For sure.
Preferences.
Well, appeal, I feel like that is more of the high level stuff, right? Everything points towards the emotional impact of your character, which comes out as appeal.
Oh, it's so cool that you, after adding in all this texture and shading, it's starting to look really dimensional now.
Yeah, got the live audience there, gonna make sure keep their attention.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't really take much if you know how to paint and draw and everything, then it doesn't really take that much to make things feel dimensional. When you look at a lot of really great paintings, a lot of times you look at it up close and they're just simple brushstrokes, and you're like, how'd they do that? You ever had that experience?
Yeah. You look up really close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really is about the thinking involved as opposed to the brush strokes that you're making or the kind of brush that you're using, even though those can help as well.
Yeah. Daryl has an interesting question. When the art director does not like your creation, how do you pick yourself up and go back to the start again? Which is kind of related to what we've been talking about, I think.
I just remind myself how lucky I am to be working on this, and I'm painting and drawing, and I'm not, doing a job that I don't like.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's just part of the job, right?
Yeah, I think it's something when you work with clients that you somewhat have to expect, that like,
yes,
if you're not in a total vacuum, there's like a purpose for what you're creating in some like larger sense.
And you're getting paid,
Right.
So it's not like you're doing it for you, you're doing it for a client.
Yeah.
So it's important that you keep that in mind. One kind of thing that I never do, and I stay away from, is trying to surprise the client. Oh, I got an idea for you. I'm going to surprise you with what it is. That rarely works.
Yeah, I think, related to that, I think one way that you can mitigate, like someone coming in and totally like bulldozing what you're working on in a very like unexpected and surprising way, is just like making sure that all the expectations are communicated beforehand and just being really good at like explicitly communicating what's happening at each step, so people are like aware of what you're working on and there's nothing that comes in at the last minute that's totally out of the blue. I guess that's more of like a business or like project managing perspective to communicating this sort of thing.
Okay, so right now what I want to do is I just want to put a little bit of a glow, like the water is affecting this thing, but it's not really working out too well, I have to say. Let's see here. Let me see if I can ramp this up a little bit.
Mark asks if anyone's ever tried AstroPad for iPads, and I don't know about you, but I actually just started drawing on the iPad and connecting it to my computer via the AstroPad app, so I definitely have started using it and am a fan.
I haven't used it yet, but I do have an iPad and everything, and I do use that. I still like going to Photoshop, because the full program, you can do everything. You can even animate in Photoshop,
Yeah,
so it's
isn't that crazy?
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I was very surprised to hear that there's this animated short by this very well-known animator named Robert Kondo.
Oh, yeah.
Or sorry, not Robert Kondo. Oh my gosh, Robert Valley. Excuse
Okay.
me. Totally different people. And he did his whole entire Oscar-nominated short film, Pear Cider and Cigarettes, all animated in Photoshop. He did the whole entire film in Photoshop.
In Photoshop? So how big was his file? Like,
Who knows?
massive.
Who knows?
That's crazy.
They must have been just huge.
For AstroPad, it's actually not a drawing app or anything. It mirrors your computer screen.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like converting your iPad into like a Cintiq or something, where it's just the frame.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, I have a nice, beautiful Cintiq at home, so I don't really use that.
Yeah, I use it when I'm like traveling and I have a small Cintiq and I just don't want to carry it around with me. I don't have room.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I'm just really lazy and I don't want to sit at my desk, I maybe want to sit on the couch or go to a coffee shop where it might be just harder to like bring my stuff with me. Yeah. Oh, Daryl saying that your talk at London Schoolism. Oh, I think Robert's talk at London Schoolism was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Valley, we were just in London and Berlin for a schoolism workshop. I love doing workshops as well, all around the world. So, and I'm super blessed because I get to travel with a lot of these incredible artists and not just learn from them through their workshops, but get to know them and everything.
Yeah.
It's I feel very blessed.
Can you also explain what you're doing right now? And
Oh yes, I'm panicking. No, just joking.
Oh no,
I'm
it looks great.
So I got this textured brush from Kyle's Brushes, and that's really been saving me. The texture, like I said, because the texture makes the brush a little bit dirtier, I guess, a little bit more flavor on the brush, right? On every brush stroke. It allows me to get away with much more simplified brush strokes, right? Because if it was just the normal default brush now, these marks would look ugly. They would look just way too simplified, I think.
And I'm seeing that your layer setting is set to screen.
Yes. What does screen do? It makes everything act like light, So if you're painting with gray, for example, then it'll make everything just slightly brighter. But if you paint with black, for example, then you wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even see the effects because black has no light parts to it. It's like you're adding light to everything.
That's so awesome. Some more knowledge dropped.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody else wants to know anything as well, gotta seize those opportunities and
ask those questions. Sounds good. And also, if you want Bobby to take a look at your portfolio, make sure to get it in before the submission deadline, which is in about 16 minutes.
Whoa.
And all the info can be found in the portfolio review tab to the right of the chat. So you asked me what I would do if I had unlimited funds.
Yes.
To put towards any creative experience. So I've been very obsessed with murals, and
cool.
Specifically as a means of just creating a large scale experience for people. So murals are just one aspect of that, but other types of installations are also very interesting to me. So I would love to create some interesting art show where I just take over a room or a series of rooms and just fill it with huge art or stuff that just makes people walk in and are just whoa, what is that?
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm actually planning an art show for those who are in San Francisco soon. And we'll put our social media online, so you can get all the info from my social media later. I don't want to go into it all right now.
Sure.
But for that, I'm planning on doing a really big mural, and then also taking over a wall in my studio and just making it a total art wall. So it'll be really cool. I'm very excited.
So you are living your creative art dream. Look at that.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Sometimes I'm so I was just talking to my friend who also went to Penn, which is the school I went to, city business there, and I'm 5 years out of college, and we just looked at each other and we're we're artists now. Isn't that crazy? we figured it out.
Do you have any kind of imposter syndrome when you're working and everything? Because a lot of artists, even very seasoned professionals, a lot of times they have this feeling where it's I somehow tricked everybody to think that I'm an artist. I hope nobody finds out.
Yeah, I mean, I could relate to what you were saying about your story in the beginning, where you were trying out all these different programs and getting turned down, but then you kind of figured out your own way. Like I can really relate to that. I think especially in the beginning of whatever I'm doing, if I'm very new to it. So when I first became an illustrator, which was at my former full-time job at Dropbox, it was like total imposter syndrome. Because first of all, I was like, I shouldn't even be here. I'm like a business school. I didn't even like study any of this stuff. And then second of all, like I'm working on stuff under like super tight deadlines, and this is like crazy that they're like trusting me with this. But I think after a while, I just got more and more comfortable with like the industry, and I think one big way that I got over imposter syndrome is realizing that like everyone is also a person. They're not these like mythical celebrity like, you know, geniuses that I'm around.
Yeah.
You know, even no matter how smart or talented you are, no matter how amazing of an engineer, an animator, a painter you could be, like you're still a person. I think just like just seeing people as just like humans with like their own interests and passions and hobbies helped me be way less intimidated of like the industry overall.
Yeah, I'd love to know what the audience thinks as well. Like, do
Yeah.
you guys go through imposter syndrome or anything? Because it'd be good for everybody to kind of see,
Yeah.
oh, you know what?
And
I think
share.
this is kind of normal.
Yeah. Do you still feel that way sometimes?
Honestly, not as much anymore, but it's been like 13 years for me.
Yeah.
So, I get that a lot less now because I kind of know what's going to happen as we're going into a project and every little step. So, yeah, I don't get that as much anymore.
Yeah, I think I'm starting, if I compare myself to like where I was 5 or 6 years ago, it's not necessarily that I am smarter or whatever, even though I hope I am. It's more that just I'm more comfortable with ambiguity.
Yeah, and you've gone through the steps. Right?
Yeah.
You've gone through the steps. You know what each step is going to be, and you become a lot more confident in it. And the familiarity is what's going to help.
Right. But even with like starting new things, like if I'm trying a totally new industry or medium or whatever, I'm like, well, the only way I can kind of go forward is just by trying anyway. And I've like been through this weird unknown phase, so even though now I'm also at the beginning again, it's like not as I'm not as like self-conscious about it. Ooh.
So what I'm doing right now
Yeah.
is I just made an adjustment layer, and you could go to image, adjustments, and then pick the same thing, curves. Or you can go down to this little circle that's cut in half.
I'm gonna move out of the way. I'm blocking it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, isn't this neat?
Yeah.
And then you could go to curves over here.
Right there.
And then you press on curves. Oops. No. Never mind. That was fun though.
All right.
And then you'd have this layer. And then I parented the layer using Alt. I'm just going to go through all this stuff real quick. And then whatever's white in my little rectangle here, this little rectangle is the same proportions as my canvas. And whatever's white in there, I will be able to see the effects of whatever this layer mask is attached to, which in this case is curves. Makes everything brighter. So I'm gonna inverse my layer mask, make everything black, so now I can't see any of those effects. And then I could just paint in white into my layer mask, and I start to reveal a lighter version of that thing.
Wow, this is so cool, everyone.
Right, super simple to get into. I'm gonna go to my default brush here so I can do things a little bit more easily. I don't need the texture as much anymore.
Right.
And so, boom, all of a sudden it's lit up, right?
Right. So this is the just default Photoshop brush that
Yes.
everyone has.
Using curves in my adjustment layer. And you can see when I paint on top of the orange areas, it's not white, it's just a lighter shade of orange, right? Because it's revealing a lighter version of everything. So then you can paint in and create these wonderful lighting effects and everything very simply with an adjustment layer.
So awesome. Daniel says that he's 4 years out of school now and has been freelancing since graduating.
Great.
And whenever he has dry weeks or months, he always thinks, my time is up. I tricked everyone. I
Oh
could do
no. Yeah, I feel you. I've been there. I think we've all been there.
Yeah. Well, I think your story about how you and Kay created like art books and used that as a strength as opposed to weakness was really inspiring. Like creating your own projects.
Thanks.
And being self-motivated is like so powerful.
Well, that's the thing, it's like you look hard enough and pretty much every disadvantage that you think you have, there's an advantage in there somewhere.
Yeah. Like I used to think having gone to business school instead of studying art at a 4-year art school was a disadvantage. And in some ways it probably is. But in other ways, like I think I'm a better communicator, negotiator, project manager. Like, there's so many ways that you can spin this stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like us living in Toronto, Canada, we kind of became a lot of different directors' little secret.
Daryl says, I think social media shows how much talent is out in the world. Yes. And it hits him more often than he'd like.
Oh, yeah. Well, Daryl, let me put it to you this way. Do I ever post any of my really bad drawings, really bad paintings on social media? No. But Daryl, do you still see your bad drawings, your bad paintings? Yes. And so do I. I see my own bad paintings, my own bad drawings. You get it? So it's like when you pay too much attention to social media and you just kind of take it as like, wow, that's how everybody's painting, then of course you're gonna feel like that, right? But just know that all of us see our horrible paintings and we're probably the only ones. Everybody else sees only the best stuff.
Nice. I like how you did the fin.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, actually, I like how you did everything. That's so cool. So cool to watch our...
Super simple, a little, couple little tricks here and there, and we're looking in good shape, I think.
Yeah. I really love what you said about social media yesterday. I even repeated it to several people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where you said that you were social media is like fire.
Yes.
If you hold it for too long, you'll burn yourself. But if you use it as fuel and warmth.
You have to keep it under control.
Right.
If you don't manage it, if you don't pay attention to how it's affecting you and stuff like that, it can get dangerous.
Right. Jay Florencia wants to ask, just great question, very fun. Why don't you move to a paradise place and do your work from there? Do you need to be present to talk to your clients?
No. So, sometimes we go and travel. Kay and I will go and stay somewhere else. Like every few years we'll everybody's going to hate me after this, but every few years we'll spend a month or a month and a half in Paris. And we'll just paint and draw every day and just kind of live that Parisian life. And then afterwards, we usually do a gallery show at our friend's gallery called Art Ludique. And then after that, we leave and go home.
It must be really cool to have a partner who's also artistic.
It's the best. It's the best.
Cool.
And it's not just because she's standing off camera.
Okay. Just a quick reminder that our portfolio submission deadline is fast approaching in just under 5 minutes. So that's 5 minutes to submit your portfolio to the link in the tab next to chat. And if you don't see your portfolio on the stream today, you can always, resubmit it in the following streams. And if you also want a specific artist to review your portfolio, you should definitely make sure to submit it during their stream. So just to recap our schedule, it's day 3, and we're starting off with Bobby this morning, followed by Kay. Kay's coming on in, about 30 minutes. Then we have the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with Kathleen at noon, followed by Nathan Folks and Anna Davis Court in the afternoon.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is so high energy and so educational and actually very entertaining. I was listening to a bunch of the streams yesterday, just hang out, drawing and just listening.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Not to my own stream, though. I'm not that, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. Do you ever listen to your own streams? Tell the truth.
I
Never,
seriously
ever.
try not to.
Okay. I have.
Whenever I listen to my own interviews, I think to myself, I definitely say like and way too much. I just get self-conscious about it.
Every time Alice says like or say something in the comments. Just joking. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
That was kind of mean.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I only say those, types of filler words when I'm nervous. So I get nervous when I'm worried about it. Therefore, listening to myself back in past interviews is not helpful to correcting this because I get more self-conscious about it.
My word is absolutely and Those are the ones I always try not to do.
Got it.
I'm pretty good with. I feel like I don't do that as much. All right, this is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is let's do a little bit of texturizing on the background here. So one of the best ways to kind of texturize, I feel, is, well, there's many different ways. So before I speak, let me just try. I'm gonna go to concept. This is the concept pack from Kyle's brushes, and he has generally everything here. He has foliage, he's got everything, and he's got clouds somewhere. Here you go, chunky clouds, fat clouds, cotton clouds. I'm thinking chunky clouds. Let's try it.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of this, and perhaps go a little lighter, just so we can see it. And I had this little window in the corner. That's just, you go to window, arrange new window to open up that secondary window there, and you can paint in here nice and freely, okay? And I'm gonna paint in some clouds in here. Just a little bit of texture.
Yeah.
Because it's a cloudy day.
And you can see it update in the big one too.
And you can see it update in the big one. It's just nice. It just adds a little bit of flavor in there. And yes,
Yeah.
I like that. That looks good. I'm just gonna add a little bit more brightness towards the top. And now I'm bringing in my Bob Ross voice. Nice happy clouds.
Nice happy clouds.
As I try to calm myself because I don't have that much time left. That's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Very peaceful.
Yeah, a lot of times, everybody, we can all paint better than we think we can. It's just we're doing the wrong things at the wrong time in the wrong order and not using Kyle's brushes. That's what's wrong.
That's what's wrong, yeah. I'm just kidding. Lots of encouragement from the chat. Thanks for being so positive, everyone. I love it when creative communities are supportive and encouraging of each other.
Totally.
It's so great.
Well, I've had a lot of very encouraging artists in my life, so it's definitely something I feel like it's important to give back when you can as well.
Yeah.
Can I give a little story before it gets too late and we start doing a bunch of stuff?
Yeah.
So, I was saying yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was saying how I was trying to be an artist, and throughout that journey, I just was met with all these no's.
Right.
Right? All the time. And then when I finally decided to quit my job, I went home to turn on my computer and become a freelance illustrator full-time.
Yeah.
My computer wasn't working.
Right.
What I didn't tell you was just like maybe 2 days before that, I interviewed, or I didn't interview, I emailed a couple of my favorite artists in the world at the time. It was Dean Yeagle and Steven Silver. And I emailed them out of I was having a hard time.
Yeah.
You know, with my career and everything, things weren't gelling. And so I emailed them and I said to both of them, you know, I really love your work. I really appreciate everything that you do. I really highly respect you. I am an artist. I'm trying to do things. I'm trying to work real hard to become a really great artist like you guys. But nothing is gelling. Nothing is happening.
Right, okay.
Can you just take a look at my portfolio and see if I have what it takes? If you tell me no, I won't be upset. I just want to know. I respect you guys.
Yeah.
And so Dean Eagle wrote me back this really nice letter saying, keep going, you know, encouraging me. I'm like, awesome. And Steven Silver wrote me back and he wrote, give me your phone number. I want to call you.
Oh.
You know, but just like the story, did he call?
Did he call?
No,
Okay.
he didn't call.
But he wanted to. Yeah.
Until I quit my job. You know, a couple weeks later, I quit my job. I'm sitting there in front of my broken computer, and nothing is happening, you know, with my computer and everything. I'm feeling really low, and then I pick myself up. I'm like, this is just another one of life's tests, right? This is just another one of life's tests saying, do you really want it? Because if you do, keep going, put on that big smile and keep going. And as soon as I came to that understanding, the phone rang.
Oh.
And Steven Silver.
How nice.
Right? And he's calling me long distance. This is before Skype and everything. And he's calling me and he's like, you know, your letter really stood out to me. I want to give you this call. You know, he just started talking and started telling me it's not the words that, or it's not the art that you showed me that's the most important. It's the words that you have been telling me that's truly important. And he said, I can sense the passion and the drive and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, just encouraging me. You could do this. You could do this. And then towards the end of this call, which was like an hour long, I told him, you know what? Today you changed my life.
Oh.
And he said to me, well, when it comes to a point in your career where you can give back to another artist, give back and we'll call it even.
Oh, that's so great.
Right? So what I want to say to you, the people out there in Adobe Live land, if these streams have helped you, then I just ask that you guys give back to somebody else and then we'll call it even. Okay? Like a really positive chainmail.
Yeah. So I think important follow-up question that some people might find useful is how did you get their email addresses in the first place?
Well, at that time it's very easy, and I think right now Steven Silver and Dean Eagle, both their emails are very much public. So
Okay.
Go right
Just
ahead.
some Googling and research.
Yeah, I think, or you just go to their site.
Yeah, and sometimes if people don't have sites for maybe you're not trying to contact a artist with a portfolio or like someone who's more low key.
Mm-hmm.
You can sometimes guess their email, but do that, you know, with like you know, like thoughtfulness. But you can sometimes guess their email. It's like sometimes their first name and last name at the company or hello at their URL or something. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And it's kind of perfect that we talk about giving back as we jump into portfolio reviews.
Yeah, I knew that.
You knew it?
I was looking at the time, I was like, this thing's gonna happen pretty soon.
It's gonna happen. Yeah. We've got our 2 portfolios selected. So, yeah, thank you all for submitting. And if you also don't see your portfolio up right now, don't fret. You can always submit in the following 3 streams today.
Great.
So yeah, let's kick it off. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're starting our portfolio reviews now. We're in this spaceship.
Whoa.
I know. We've entered a special land called
How did we get
Portfolio
here?
Land. Where are we? So we're gonna kick it off with this first portfolio from Marco Ropp. So Marco is from Slovenia. Thank you for submitting your portfolio. And we're just gonna take a quick look at, overall the portfolio itself. You can even look at your website. And then we're gonna deep dive into a couple of projects that you've created. So
Lovely.
yeah. Oh, cool. So Marco, it looks like you have a focus on children's book illustrations and character design. So I think very relevant for given Bobby's experiences.
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot of really fun projects, and I don't know which one to click on because they all look very interesting. So this is your Behance, and then this is your website. Oh, so cute. I love how everything is on a white background in your landing page. Very fun. So I'm just gonna click into Mr. Lion and his friends. So I'll take a look at this. Got some cute animals here.
Those are adorable.
Yeah, I really love
Wow.
how you did the lion's mane.
Oh, the lion is amazing. It's so
Yeah.
good. I love the sloth,
Yeah.
the seal, the tiger. Oh my gosh.
Koala.
That is adorable. You know what I would love to see with this, to even boost it even better, is just to, I don't know if maybe there's already pages like this, but just to see a page where it's like, it shows these characters kind of doing a story, a little bit of a story.
Yeah.
Especially because it is storybooks and everything, that it would make a lot of sense.
Right. Like some context.
But
yeah.
probably already has that kind of stuff. We haven't searched through the whole entire site or anything.
Yeah. These are really cute. I feel very peaceful, and I love how like simple a lot of the shapes that you're using are. But yet it conveys such like a rich and like dimensional character.
Adorable. It
Yeah.
looks almost traditional, but I think it is digital, right?
Yeah, maybe.
It's very nice.
Please let us know. Oh, Marco. Marco says, thank you so much. I'm totally in a self-doubt period for real, so this is kind of amazing. Oh, Marco, you're awesome. Your work is great.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, I especially love how you did this lion's mane. Like, it's very, like, charming and whimsical to me. Cute. I'm going to look on your website to see if there's, more that we're missing from the Behance, but yeah. I totally agree. I think, maybe adding in the next step, which could be showing these in different contexts or environments, or in some kind of narrative, like story. That would be really cool.
Yep, I totally agree.
And Marco says, yes, it is digital.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it when something digital doesn't look digital. You're just
Yeah.
not sure what the heck it is.
Yeah.
I really like that idea.
All right, so I'm gonna pull up another one really quickly. I'm also noticing you have a photography in here, which I actually originally thought just from the thumbnail that it was like a really rendered painting that you did. So my opinion is like, I think it can be hard to, like as a third person who doesn't really assume like someone doesn't know like who you are, for them to like come in and like parse a lot of different types of projects, it can be a little difficult to like get you really quickly. So my advice would be to try to leave out some of the photography or put it in a different section than your character design work, because it could be a little confusing for someone who is coming in with no context.
I actually thought that was a painting at first.
Right, me too. Yeah. Yeah, but it is cool. It's very, very, like, focused.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pull up this Best of 2016 tab on your website, and we're just going to look through that. So we're seeing a lineup of characters. here. Also very adorable.
Oh my goodness.
And then
super cute.
we get to the environments and in context.
Super cute.
Really, really cute. Oh, so cute. So it looks like it's a story
Yeah.
between this boy and his fox. Oh, and they meet a girl and some bears.
Oh, no way. Halloween. It's nice lighting and everything as well.
Yeah, oh cool, the Monster Project. So I believe this is something where a kid draws a sketch of their monster, which is on the left, and then an artist takes that and like, an artist is assigned that drawing and then renders it in their style.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so it's pretty cute.
That's a nice interpretation. It's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah, I like how you incorporated the parts of the real original drawing.
Mm.
Yeah, I really like your work. Let's see really quickly what your focus is. So, like we mentioned before, you are kind of focusing on children's books and character design. So yeah, I think this work is like super great for those contexts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you're doing really well. You know, you just gotta keep going and just don't give up, because that's the ticket. That's the thing. Once you are out there long enough and learn enough, the world has no choice but to notice you. So you're gonna do great. I have a feeling.
Yeah, your work is awesome. It's very bright and colorful, and I think if also like in terms of what Bobby has been talking about in terms of like reaching out to people, I think you could, if you haven't already, totally, you know, start to just do that and maybe put on your business hat a little bit and reach out to other people in your industry and kind of see where that goes. Not sure. I don't know what your situation is, but yeah, I think this work is very, very great.
Yeah, a lot of times that could be very scary too, reaching
Yeah.
out and everything. But sometimes you just gotta tell your brain, "Shut up, brain. We're doing this." I don't care if you're like scared or nervous or whatever, because like I could tell you, your stuff looks legit. It looks great.
Yeah.
It really does.
We're like, you should do it. Like,
Yeah.
do it.
You're ready.
Yeah. Great job, Marco. Thank you for submitting. And so now we're taking a look at Jay Florencio's portfolio. So Jay is from Portugal.
Oh, very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
And a focus on illustration, character design, concept art, working with advertising agencies, game companies, and publishers. So let's take a look. And I'm also going to jump into your portfolio site as well. Oh, cool. Actually, this looks more design oriented. So yeah, I'll just start clicking into some projects and we'll take a look.
All right.
Cool, so this is a tabletop illustration. Yeah, it looks like it was created using Photoshop.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I'd say like the one thing that I would say is like your technical skills looks like it's right there. It's looking really good. Your texture looks a tiny bit like the skin could use a little bit of work. And I'm saying that because the specularity, the shininess of it, it just feels very shiny, a little bit too shiny to the point where it feels a little bit plasticky or something. Just a touch, you know, but something that I feel like your skills are there. So if I just tell you, then you'd be able to do it and you'd be able to kind of calm that down a little bit.
Cool.
The other part to it is, what is the emotional intent of the piece? Right, we talked a little bit about this during the first part of the stream a couple days ago. You know, the emotional intent is what's going to really get people. And for me, when I look at this, I'm wondering, what is the emotional intent? Is it to scare me? Is it to make me laugh? I just don't feel like it's totally hitting either one of those just yet. But a lot of times that's just because we don't really think about what is the emotional intent of our painting before we actually start drawing it.
What would be some suggestions of like immediate next steps that Jay could take to maybe drive that home?
Yeah, so, I kind of see it going either scary route or funny route. If it was scary, then I make it way more scary. Like this guy's got dirt coming out of his mouth. He's eating dirt for some reason as he's gardening and everything.
Yeah.
And worms are coming out of wounds since he kind of has this skull like, it doesn't have a nose and everything. A worm could be coming out of there as well. Just really gross stuff. And maybe actual fungus is starting to grow, moss and fungus is starting to grow on him. That'd be scary.
Okay, cool, yeah. I would also say maybe this is more of a portfolio design perspective as opposed to your actual art, but having one or two sentences even of like what this was for would probably be helpful, just to see what the context is.
Good point.
Yeah. Cool, and we're gonna dive into Feathers of Sorrow. Ooh, looks like it's a rock band.
Wow.
So this is painting, character design, illustration.
Very cool.
Yeah, some full-on scenes of this this band of totally metal roosters.
That's neat.
Yeah.
I like the idea. It's really neat. I kind of feel like your next step that would take your art to the next level is to concentrate on edges for the next little bit, because every one of your edges feels sharp.
Oh, okay.
And which is fine. You don't even need to vary up your edges, but it could take your stuff to that next level if you start to vary up your edges more. Some tips: softer edges in the dark. General rule, right? Softer edges in the dark. Why? Can you see stuff clearly in the dark? Not really.
Nope.
Right? What do sharp edges do? It lets you see stuff clearly.
Ah, that's a really great point. Oh, Jay says, I can't even believe. Well, believe it's happening.
It's happening.
It's real life.
Totally.
Yeah. That's so awesome. I love this rooster guy who's just totally rocking out, and all the feathers are coming out of his body because he's so intense. Cool. We're gonna jump into one more project really quickly.
Great.
Let's look at. I'm trying to pick one that's a little different from what we've seen so far. I'll pick Zombie 2. Oh, it's a Kickstarter project. Wow. Okay, so very scary zombie on Kickstarter. Oh. Whoa.
That's pretty neat.
Yes.
Yeah. It has its emotional intent, so that's good. I do feel like I would like to, I'm interested, so like,
Yeah.
Where's more? Is there more?
Is there? Yeah, it's Kickstarter link.
Cool.
But without. Oh, it looks like it was for a tabletop game.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like there's some like more context here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I mean, this is more from a portfolio perspective as opposed to art perspective, but it's great that you have the link here. Even maybe just pasting in, a paragraph that's kind of summarizing like what the project was for could really help someone better understand and then be able to like place your work contextually.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you to both Jay and Marco for submitting your portfolios. And I love how there was kind of a range in styles too.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So we are coming to the end of our stream soon.
I know, so sad.
Yeah, but it looks really great. It's so crazy, like how you've been able to take this piece from start to finish. all 3 days.
I know. I'm sure everybody's just watching me, just going like this, like frantically, and yeah, that's totally been helping.
So we're gonna miss you guys all. We've been spending our last 3 days here, so I'm thinking maybe it'd be good to just share where people can find us later, and like if you want to follow Bobby's work. So do you want to go first?
Oh yeah, sure. Follow me on Instagram at Digital Bobbert, and follow me on YouTube at Digital Bobbert, and I'm also on Twitter, and that one's just Bobby Chiu.
Wouldn't it be amazing? I was gonna say, wouldn't it be amazing if you were Digital Bobbert everywhere, and then like something totally different?
I should have been consistent, you know? I should have been consistent, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah. And so thanks to Tim for putting in those links. As for me, especially if you know you're based in the Bay Area, I love getting to the community. You can find me everywhere, like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at by Alice Lee. That is my full name.
Awesome.
So be sure to say hi, especially if you're in the area.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been loving my time here at Adobe. Honestly, I don't want to go. I think I'm gonna hide in one of these little cubby holes around here.
Yeah.
Wait for them to close up shop and do my own green screen videos. Ooh, look! I'm grabbing an eyeball.
Wait.
Oh, it's hard.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Now I respect weather people way more.
Right.
You know, cold front coming down in this direction.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have a push of warm.
And then a unicorn will appear.
Yes.
Over here.
Oh, over there.
Magically.
I'm so confused.
Wow, that is so dreamy.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of feel like the light needs to dim down a whole bunch. Okay, I think I'm done. I kind of like it. I think I just want to do maybe one last tiny little thing, which is a little color dodge, and just add in a bit of light.
Color dodge. Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit of colored light in here everywhere. Just a little bit. And grab a soft brush and zoom out a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna use it, but just a little bit, Oh, no, you know what? I know what's going on. I need to, oh, okay, color dodge, there we go. Right? Look at that, look how cool that is. You know, it just adds in a little bit of flavor in there. Can you kind of sense that?
Yeah. I like it.
That'd be nice.
Really like directs your eye to the unicorn. Does the unicorn have a name?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking when I heard Gus and Kat had a dog. This was kind of like I kind of felt that this is their dog in a way.
Oh, great!
I don't know.
Yes.
So whatever their dog's name is.
Yeah.
Kashi. Okay. Yay! Kashi
Looks
as a
awesome.
mermaid. I have no idea what Kashi looks like, but this is what I have in my head.
Here's Kashi. Yay!
And now it's done.
It is done.
Last
Ship
thing
it.
to do, sign it.
Oh yeah. Make
And
sure to
then
do that.
we're gonna ship it out there somewhere in the world. Somebody's gonna get this.
Yes.
This little Kashi painting.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in these last 3 days with Bobby. It's been really fun to just like chat with everyone and also learn about Bobby's story and his process. And if you have any more questions, you know, you can find Bobby and myself on the internet.
Yes.
So yeah, just signing off now. Thank you everyone. Stay tuned for Kay and Kathleen coming up in 5 minutes. Bye.
Yay! Bye.
Wait, let's high five.
Oh, high five! Yeah.
Are you leaving me?